So tell us about why the Oakland Coliseum. It's in your worst. What is this? The worst baseball parks of
Worst
all
MLB.
time bracket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
Uh,
well, I think it's crazy. It's I think as of this year, it's their longest. Now this is year 55. This is their longest. It's overtaken Shibe Park as their longest.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Mhm.
or I guess it already overtook Shibe Park a few years ago. But
Yeah,
it's
it did.
they've been here the
I-
longest. Yeah.
I marked that moment too. Yeah, they've been in the Coliseum longer than they've been anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
there's a bunch of old retired stadiums, some that don't exist anymore in your bracket, but there's a couple that are still extant, like the Coliseum. What other stadiums are in there that still are hosting games?
Okay, so this is what I did. To take the 32 worst team, the ballparks. So I was just trying to make
Yeah.
a bracket, like an even bracket that fits right.
Yep.
I didn't want any.
Yep.
I didn't want any buys.
Playing games, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be 16, 32, or 64, right? Well, okay, so I decided there's really 20 something or low 20s that are, yeah, okay, this is a horrible ballpark, a horrible stadium, easy to put in there. But then, I needed to fill out the rest of the bracket, 8, 5 or 6, 7, 8 more.
Mhm.
So, and then I did put some reasonable criteria on it. I didn't want any, Colt Stadium where the Astros played for a couple of years was hideous.
Mhm.
Six Stadium where the Pilots played was atrocious.
Six stadium.
I didn't want to include the LA Coliseum was a horrible place for baseball where
Yeah.
the Dodgers played before Dodger Stadium. So I didn't want, I excluded any ballpark that wasn't used for at least 5 seasons.
Okay.
Right. To get rid of the minor league parks. Now, Jerry Park, where the Expos played for 8 years, is in there. But so I took the obvious ones that are bad. Exhibition Stadium, the Kingdome, Metrodome, all the way up. And that included pretty much any, and I didn't really include any of the classic ballparks. Right. I could have put the Polo Grounds in there because it was such a weird, horrible place for baseball, but it's so weird and horrible that it's awesome. Right. So I didn't include any of the classic parks. So, if you go back to the beginning of the new era was Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, and then the modern stadiums. And then we were talking about earlier, then it went to the multi-purpose stadium. So obviously all those were included, like Three Rivers, Riverfront, Busch Stadium, Veteran Stadium, RFK. Even Shea Stadium is really a cookie cutter. It just has a Pac-Man cut out to it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I included all those, and then once I got the and even county stadiums in there and all that, but I had to pick, a few ballparks that are still existing, and this is where I got the most feedback from crap from everybody, and the feedback is, they're going to get. People are going to get hurt about their favorite stadium. Anything. Okay, so let's just take the top 5, the worst 5 ballparks in baseball right now. Right. So let's start with that to fill in the bracket. So, okay.
Yep.
Obviously,
the last dive bar.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, Tropicana. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Rogers Center is outdated and it's not really a ballpark, even though they've done some renovations. Even though Guaranteed Rate Field is 1,000 times better than it was when it opened in 1991.
Yep, I can attest to that.
Not a good
still
ballpark.
Not good. It's still
I've
not
been
good.
there
It's
too.
in a bad place.
It didn't feel personal. I don't know. I've been there too. It just kind of felt like I
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it used to be in a. I mean, it's it used to be in a neighborhood in Bridgeport, right? That used to be a neighborhood.
But there's a freeway.
Then they built. I mean, yeah, Old Comiskey Park. They built the freeway. It's like a 9-lane freeway. It has like an L tracks going through the middle. They built a freeway, tore that down, and then it's surrounded by a freeway on one side, and then on 2 other sides, it's surrounded by just huge seas of parking, and then on the third side, it's surrounded by an old folks home, like a low-income old folks home, and. And obviously, like the South Side of Chicago is the lower, is the much more like economically depressed area, so there's just like nothing. There's like one hot dog stand there, that is sort of there. There's like one really old bar that's like, again, on the other side of huge parking lots. It's not in a good neighborhood, you know. I don't know if this story is true. I would love to hear if you've heard this. So the story that I heard is that so the Bridgeport, the neighborhood that the New Comiskey Park is, whatever it's called. It's New Comiskey Park to me, but New Comiskey Park is called Bridgeport, and it really used to be this like big Irish neighborhood, and it was part of where the Dailies, who were the two Richard Dailies, who were mayors. One was mayor, in the 60s, and then the other was mayor in the 90s and aughts. That's where their old political power was from. And so when that sculpture in Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's in this new park right downtown called Millennium Park, which used to be a train yard. And so when they were in the 1990 or 1989, when they were trying to figure out where they're going to put the new Sox Stadium, they said, well, this train yard we could put the stadium right downtown here. And the Mayor Daley was like, no. The Comiskey Park's the only thing holding together my old Irish neighborhood. It's going down there. And so for a while, there was talk of the White Sox Park being right in Grant Park, right downtown, with all the big buildings there where the bean sculpture is. But nope, it's in a terrible place.
And not only that, they didn't even face it towards downtown this time.
Right.
Yep. Comiskey Park it was all closed in. They had the big, massive scoreboard in the center, so you really couldn't see.
It didn't matter anyway. But yeah.
But the new one, it's facing the other direction.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So those four. Everyone I can agree with. Those are terrible.
And then
stadiums.
Of course, the Oakland.
Of course. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a given. Yeah.
It's a point of pride.
I still had to add a couple more to that, right? So. There's the thing is, and people understand, is all the new stadiums built since Camden Yards, pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your PNC Park, and you got your Oracle, and you got your Camden Yards, and all these other ones that stand out as being the top of that. But even your newer ones, like the one in Atlanta. Truist, whatever you want, is a great ballpark. Target Field's a great ballpark.
Yeah, I was gonna say Target Field looks like it's really cool spot.
So there's gonna be couple new ones that were built that aren't as great. And the one that sticks out to me is Nationals Park.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was running out of slots. I got to put something there.
You had to put somebody in there.
Going down the list of the worst current ballparks, right? I got Guaranteed Rate, I got Oakland, I got Tampa, I got Rogers, I got Chase Field, the KS Dome. Got to put that in there. So now I got to get to some actually decent ballparks. So I put, I'm sorry, but National
people got mad. Yeah. I worked for a bunch of years at Nats Park. I'll say this: it's like a super great neighborhood. It's near the Metro. And they've built up a bunch of new, bars and a bunch of new apartments all around there. But inside, it feels like any new park. There's nothing that's like, oh, that's the thing about Nationals Park. Yeah. I get it.
The thing that I don't like about Nationals Park is it's kind of sterile. It's very It's very split level, upper deck.
Yes.
Everything's really far away.
Yes.
They could have used the neighbor instead of putting a parking garage right out in left field. They could have done something else there. They didn't really,
you can see the Capitol from the upper deck, but you can't see the Capitol from the lower deck. What you can see are both large parking lots.
right. I mean, you would think you would have done something about that. So
yeah. No, I agree.
That, I could have included. I mean, people argue about what are the rankings of the current stadiums? So I just I'm like, okay, I'll just throw Globe Life Park in there. People hated
all right, so
that I put that
baseball's last dive bar, the Oakland Coliseum, has moved on to the
Second round.
the elite. Is it the elite
Sweet
8 or is
16,
it the
Sweet
Sweet
16,
16
right?
here?
Yeah.
Sweet 16 here. Yeah, Sweet
Actually,
16.
I'm gonna retitle it on the next graphic as the unsweet
Oh, the sour 16.
and
Yeah.
and the delete 8.
Oh,
I like it. I like it.
it's up against Pro Player Stadium, which might hold the record for most names within its life.
Yeah. Oh
right?
no. I tweeted that out one time, and this is. I mean, they expanded that. There's no way I could have done the original 240 characters. So that,
Coliseum's had a few names. The
I had to
O.Co.
write it
Coliseum.
on the little notepad, right? You know, Oakland have what is it? Molly Ringwald Stadium now. What what?
Oh,
Ring Central. Listen, it's been listen.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
been
no,
Ring
it's had a few
Central
names.
for
It'll be- I
3
always
years.
call it Oakland Coliseum.
It's been Ring Central, I think, for 3 years now. I've never heard anyone call it Ring Central. And still, rather than, like I remember when the Giants changed their name from, what was it, AT&T to Oracle, right? Like there's giant, huge, there used to be giant, huge, 12-foot tall physical AT&T Stadium, out front. And they popped those suckers on, put brand new giant 12-foot Oracle Field. There's still just like a plastic tarp on front. It's like
you open up a new
grand
business.
opening.
Yeah,
Because
it's like
they
you open
know-
up a new
Central Field.
business.
They still have not paid to even have like a real physical sign. It's still just something strapped down with ropes.
Yeah.
Because they know it's going to change next year, right?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, who cares, right? Like, I think they probably call Ring Central every February 1st and be like, "Hey, guys, you got like 30 grand or something?"